It's Kenny's
I'll
favorite
kick
section.
it off. For the Cinefiles, this one is a little bit older, but there's been some new photos that came out. So very quickly, uh, Batgirl travesty that was canceled the way that it was. I get that it's a financial decision, but Warner Brothers just kind of keeps digging themselves a hole. As the chief financial officer says that the whole situation was blown out of proportion. Per a statement by Gunnar Windenfels, he says, "To me, it's blown out of proportion a little bit in terms of the attention externally. The focus is on a go forward basis here. We're spending more than ever in the history of the two companies on content. We're continuing to make significant investments. We'll make them differently. Media likes to talk about media, I guess. I don't think it's unusual. We are a creative industry, and one of the elements of creativity is that there is judgment and views on what the potential of what a certain piece of property might be. Clearly, the course corrections, making changes quickly where we don't agree with the track of that, don't agree with the track that Warner Media was on. And that took a lot of courage and execution early. So basically, what he's talking about there is because there was more than just more than just Batgirl. There's been a lot of other cancellations. One we didn't get to talk about also is like a lot of Adult Swim shows that have been hosted on HBO Max are currently getting taken off. And we'll talk about. I'm sure this is going to be a continuing problem that we end up talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But the directors for Batgirl and even Leslie Grace herself, who played the titular character, dropped some photos of her interacting with Michael Keaton's return as Batman. So we got to see that photo show up online, and even saw a behind the scenes stunt photo that showed her, or sorry, video, actual full video showing her like jumping off of a balcony, doing a backflip, landing on a tree, and landing in front of a bunch of goons. It looked pretty good. It looked pretty good for them to say like this movie is not finished, and obviously we know they were still gonna have to do some cleanup and edit, but it's like, man, this movie seemed like it was really done. I mean, it seemed like it was really close.
Yeah. It's like how it makes you question like how much more did you need to spend in order to like just wrap it up?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, Taryn, you say it's distracting. All right, so for next time we won't have the yellow block. I don't
Or
think
the
people
or the
notice the blue
or the
block
blue
as
one.
much. The
Yeah.
blue. All right. What's next?
Crossover news. British Film Institute announces a 10-year plan to expand video game content. So the strategy, called Screen Culture 2033, has been greenlit with a cash infusion of 136 million funding plan for the first 3 years, with more likely to follow for this 3-year plan. To better recognize the achievements of all screen mediums, including video games, as an art form. In a statement, quote unquote, but despite its universal appeal and impact, screen culture is not afforded the same value in society as other cultural forms. At the BFI, we're here to promote the growth and full value of screen culture, to celebrate its positive impact on society, and transform access to ensure its continued economic growth.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. I mean, video games are art, and like there's tons and tons of games that people can point to over examples, like over not even just in the past like 5 years, like really in the past like 20 years.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that I'm not trying to say an American one would have done it first. I'm just surprised that BFI did it first. If that makes sense.
Why?
Like just because of the saturation of game culture in the U.S. compared to other countries. I'm not saying, to be clear, I know other countries play video games and it's very
Hmm.
healthy markets in every single. I just kind of thought if there would have been one that would have made that kind of commitment
Jump.
towards it, would have thought it would have been maybe over here. But since that statement is more arts focused as a whole, maybe that's where I'm
Hmm.
kind of missing it. Is because
Okay.
they're, as much as it's also video games, they're also trying to make sure everything that's on screen is elevated, and that might be where as the U.S. it's purely entertainment a lot of the times, which is
Hmm.
not necessarily bad, but I don't know if we always think about it in that art.
Yeah, I don't think well, I don't know much about like the peoples of the gaming peoples of other countries, but I know like I feel like in the U.S. there's like not as many people who like are vocal about pushing for video games to be considered art in the U.S. Like it's like a topic that comes up, you know, when the awards ceremonies pop up or whatever, where I was like, why aren't you including video games? And it's like, why aren't they including video games? But like other than that, it's like effectively a non-conversation.